Good morning, all of you. So, in the previous class, we started our circular motion, and this we derived. That means we defined some basic definition like angular velocity, angular displacement, and then angular accelerations, and we mentioned some relations among them, right? And so, when particle is revolving in circular path, so there will be change in angular displacement is there, and correspondingly we define the angular velocity. Now here the question will arise is, can we define angular velocity when the particle is not in circular motion? So the particle is traveling along the straight line only, but now the question arises, can we define the angular velocity in such a case? So what's your answer? Can we define angular velocity when the particle is traveling along a straight line? The answer is yes, we can define. That depends on the position of the observer. So with respect to some observers, there will be some angular velocity even when the particle is traveling in a straight line, right? So that we discuss under angular velocity in general. Angular velocity in general. So in circular motion we discussed it in the last class. Now we are going to discuss in general. Now suppose say here an observer is standing here at some point O, let us consider. Now here I am taking this, a particle P is traveling along this direction here, so having some velocity say V, it is traveling along this direction making an angle theta with this. So now this is the observer O, he is at a distance of say R from this. So this is our assumption here, right? So the particle is traveling along this straight line only, it is traveling along this straight line here. So now for this observer standing at the point O, we can define the angular velocity of this particle. So why? Because if you are resolving this velocity into components here, if you are resolving this velocity into components, so then you can write this component as V cos theta, and this component you can write this as V sin theta, right? Now observe this, analyze the motion of this particle with respect to the point O in terms of those components. So then for an observer here, if an observer is standing at this point here, so for this observer, due to this component V cos theta, is there any angular motion? Is there an angular motion due to V cos theta? There is no angular motion. Directly observer is standing here, due to this V cos theta, the particle is directly moving away from him. So that there is no any angular velocity due to this component here. There is no angular motion for this observer with due to this component, and so that there is no angular velocity for this component, but there will be some angular velocity due to this component here, just like it appears like if the particle is moving along a circular path here with R as a radius. If the same particle is traveling along the circular path with R as a radius, there the velocity at that point will be in the same direction, like V naught cos theta, in the same direction as V naught cos theta. The particle, if this is a circle, if you assume here, then this particle velocity, this component is nothing but V naught component, which is V sin theta, which is tangential to the circle here. So it will appear for this observer, it will appear like that. That means this particle is assumed to be revolving around a circular path due to that V naught V sin theta, and so that it will be a tangential component for that positions here. So it will appear like that, and so that now here the angular velocity with respect to that observer, we can write this as, therefore angular velocity of particle with respect to observer at O, that omega is equal to, what we can write is V sin theta by R, you can write. Just our V is equal to R omega relation there. Just by using that, you can write that relation as V is equal to, just by using that V is equal to R omega relation, you can write this equation as omega is equal to V sin theta by R, you can write here, right? So that is the angular velocity for an observer there. So for an observer, when the particle is in linear motion, So just you need to resolve the velocity into components along the line joining the particle and the observer and perpendicular to the line joining the particle and observer. Now you need to take the component of velocity perpendicular to the line joining the observer and the particle. Perpendicular to the line joining observer and particle means this one. So in the direction you need to take this component. So because of that component only, that angular velocity will be there, right? So like that you can resolve that. If there is any such a perpendicular component, if observer is standing here only, for example, if you consider like the particle is traveling along this line here, say with velocity v, and observer is standing here only, in the same line only, then angular velocity with respect to that particle will be 0, right? That means with respect to that observer there is no any angular velocity, because the total velocity is along this direction only. There is no any component perpendicular to the line joining and the line joining observer and particle. So there must be, in order to define the angular velocity in when the particle is in linear motion, there must be any component of velocity perpendicular to the line joining this observer and this particle. So there must be one component at least perpendicular to this direction. If any such a component is there, so then that component by that perpendicular distance we can write here. This is our perpendicular distance, r value. And otherwise, if there is no such a component like this, then there is no angular velocity. That means with respect to that person, there is no angular motion. That means the person cannot observe any angular motion. Directly observe that linear motion only, right? So now we can also write this expression in this different ways here. So let us see this. You can convert this expression as, I can write this as, that means actually this is v perpendicular component by perpendicular distance. The meaning of this is nothing but v sin theta or v cos theta means that perpendicular component by perpendicular distance here. This is actual meaning of this, where v perpendicular is a perpendicular component of velocity and r perpendicular is a perpendicular distance between the observer and the point. Observer and this point p there. And so now you can also express this in terms of the cross product. You can convert like this. So what we are writing is v sin theta by r. So then here I am writing this multiplying with this r and dividing with this r. And therefore this omega value we can write this as r bar cross v bar by r square you can write. So right. So modulus of this you can consider it now. So now like this also now we can express like, if r bar and v bar are given in vector form, then you can use directly that form here. That means r bar cross v bar mod of r bar cross v bar by then r square you can write here. So r bar cross v bar means that is according to our direction of the cross product, we are writing as r bar cross v bar value there. Because in the cross product of vectors I mentioned already, we mentioned like angular velocity, angular momentum and torque expressions there. So that means in torque we are writing like r bar cross f bar. In cross product definitions we discussed this, r bar cross p bar. And now whereas when you are writing this v bar, we write like omega bar cross r bar, relation between r and omega when you are writing. Now here we are writing this expression as omega bar is equal to r bar cross v bar. Now we need to write here, that means the direction of this vector we need to write like this, right? So because there itself I said if this resulting vector is an axial vector, then r bar will be the first vector like this. If the resulting vector is a linear vector, then r bar will be the second vector, second place. So like this, here this v bar is a linear vector, and so then r bar will be the first vector. But here our omega bar is our angular vector, so that we are writing this r bar as a first vector there. So whenever the resulting of two cross product of two vectors is an axial vectors, then r bar will be the first vector in general you will get. That's the general concept there. So anyhow here we need the magnitude only, and so that there is no confusion, we know magnitude of r bar cross v bar and v bar cross r bar is same only. So just you need to substitute this magnitude only. Is it clear? So generally this is the simple procedure to find this angular velocity here. We need to resolve this into velocity into components, line joining the observer and the particle, along that line and perpendicular to that line. So we can take the perpendicular component and we can define this angular velocity here. And now sometimes the observer and this particle both are moving. So now let us define how to define this relative angular velocity in three cases. So relative angular velocity now. Relative angular velocity in general. So I am taking instead of this particle, I am taking instead of this observant particle, I am taking it as a two particles there, for example. And so now these two particles are there here. So this is a point A and this is the point B, right? So then those two particles are moving in different directions with the different velocities here. So I am taking that this particle is having this velocity v1 along this direction and say at an angle theta 1, and this particle is moving with velocity v2 and at some angle theta 2 along this line. And so this distance is, for example, r I am assuming here, AB distance I am taking as r. So now let us resolve this into components here. Let us resolve this A and B velocities of A and B into components there. So that I can write this as, if you are resolving this into, because in order to define the angular velocity we need to resolve this linear velocities into components. So I am resolving this into components here. So this is v1 sine theta, v2 v1 cos theta, cos theta 1, and similarly this is v2 cos theta 2 along this direction, and this direction will be v2 sine theta 2, right? So like this, now we need to write these components here. And so now let us write these velocity vectors here. So these vectors we can write this as, now observe this, due to which components that relative velocity will be there, relative angular velocity will be there. For example, say A is an observer, let us take, that means particle A itself we are taking an observer, right? So particle A itself I am taking an observer there. So then B is, he is observing that B. Then due to these components v2 cos theta 2, is there any angular motion? So if your observer is standing here, if an observer is standing here, and that means the particle observer means the particle A itself as an observer we are taking there. So then due to this component, is there any angular velocity? Due to that component, that particle is traveling directly away from this. So if an observer is standing here and if the particle is directly traveling away from the observer, he can't observe any angular motion. He directly observes that particle is moving along the straight line only. When the particle is moving, if the observer feels that particle is traveling along the straight line only, then there is no angular velocity for that particle. Angular displacement is not there, and so that angular velocity is not there. And so here this angular velocity due to these components will be 0. But as I said, there will be some angular velocity due to this component here. So as this particle, that means this observer is also moving here, so that he should take that relative velocity. I write this as angular velocity of A with respect to B. With respect to B. So this can be written as angular velocity of A with respect to B. This we need to write this as velocity of A with respect to B perpendicular component by this RAB perpendicular. The perpendicular distance between A and B we need to write. So simply in the previous when observer is at rest, just we mentioned that V perpendicular by R perpendicular we mentioned there. Now instead of that V perpendicular, V relative perpendicular we need to calculate. So relative velocities we need to calculate, and that perpendicular component of relative velocity just we need to calculate here. So the meaning of this is, so what we can write is angular velocity of A with respect to B means the angular velocity of A with respect to B in perpendicular direction. So that perpendicular component relative velocity means V1 sin theta 1 minus V2 sin theta 2, right? So by this value perpendicular distance R we need to write here. So that will be the angular velocity of A with respect to B. Is it clear? So that is angular velocity of A with respect to B, you can write like this. So relative perpendicular component velocity, relative velocity perpendicular to the line joining A and B we need to take. By this R value we need to consider, right? So that is perpendicular angular velocity will get like this. Now if suppose these two particles are having velocities in different direction, here why I am taking modulus means, for example, if you are getting this V2 sin theta 2 value as greater than that of V1 sin theta 1 for example, then simply the angular velocity magnitude will be same, it appears in reverse direction. For example, if V1 sin theta with respect to A, the angular velocity of A with respect to B we are calculating, right? So with respect to B means if suppose this velocity is high, then it appears to be revolving in this direction, like clockwise direction. If its velocity is V1 sin theta is less than that of this, then the particle appears to be revolving in its anti-clockwise direction here. So the just clockwise and anti-clockwise will be different there. The magnitude will be same only. The magnitude of angular velocity will be same only. So that means even if you are removing that modulus, there is no confusion there. Just the directions will be opposite. If you are getting negative sign, it appears to be revolving in opposite direction there. So that means with respect observe is here we are assuming here. So if V1 sin theta is more, then particle will appears to be revolving in clockwise sense like this. If V1 sin theta is less, then the particle will appears to be moving in this anti-clockwise direction. That is only the thing there, right? And so next, let us take this as a case 1 here. And now let us write the another case here. Another case when the particles are moving in this opposite directions there, when these velocities are there in opposite directions, for example. So this is point A and this is the point B, let us consider. So same, this is having some velocity V1 at an angle theta 1. Now this particle B is having velocity V2 along this direction here at some angle theta 2. And so now again you can resolve these velocities into components and you can write this, just that relative velocity. I hope all of you can guess what we are going to write. So then this value I can write this as V1 cos theta 1 and this will be V1 sin theta 1 and similarly this is V2 cos theta 2 and this is V2 sin theta 2. Now our angular velocity basic definition will be same, VAB perpendicular component by R perpendicular you need to write. So this will be our basic definition of relative angular velocity there. This will be our relative angular velocity, perpendicular direction will be there like this. Relative angular velocity we need to write like this, either in this case or in this case the basic definition will be same only. This is again the same, angular velocity of A with respect to B, omega AB means angular velocity of A with respect to B. That's what we are writing here. Now just let us write this value here. The velocity of A with respect to B, let us write. So that's value we can write this expression as omega of omega AB is equal to. So now V1 sin theta minus of minus we need to write here because it is in opposite direction there. So minus of minus means then plus you will get. So that this value is V2 sin theta 2 you will get, right, by this R. So that is a simple expression there. So if you are getting these two components in opposite direction, then minus of minus plus you will get. If they are in same direction, then you will get this minus sign like this. So that is the only thing you need to remember while you are writing this relative angular velocities here. Is it clear? So that is a way of writing that relative angular velocities when two particles are in moving. Two particles when both the particles are moving there. Next let us take one more case there. Suppose if the particles are moving in circular path. So let us write this relative angular velocities there. So let us write that as a case 3. So that means if the particles are moving in a concentric circles here. So let us take if they are moving in the same direction like this. So at the same nearest point, let us consider here V1 and V2. Suppose its radius is R1 and its radius is R2. So just mention this one here. So next mention this point. So in this again the different possibilities will be there. They may be at the nearest points or there may be at the farthest point, and they may be like near farthest points in the same direction, nearest point in the opposite direction. So like this, different all possibilities will be there. Just our basic concept is this only. With the help of this only we are going to write this expressions here. So write that. Consider two particles are revolving in a concentric circles. Two particles are revolving in concentric circular paths of radii r1 and r2. Of radii r1 and r2. Then angular velocity of B with respect to A, B with respect to A, or A with respect to B, anything you can write there, just L2. Angular velocity of B with respect to A can be expressed for different cases as shown in figure. For different cases as shown below. So for this case I am writing here when the particles positions are like this. So what I mentioned there is angular velocity of B with respect to A. So B with respect to A means then VBA perpendicular by this R perpendicular we need to write. So then this is nothing but BA with respect to means then you can write this as V2. Already these are perpendicular to the line joining those two particles only, right? So no need of resolving any components here. So then I am directly writing here V2 minus V1 by this R perpendicular distance is nothing but R2 minus R1 you need to write. So this is our angular velocity of A with respect to B for this case. So next I am taking a case like so say if one particle is here and other particle is here. So now let us say this case here. This is V1 and V2 I am taking like this. So now in that case, suppose if you want to write the angular velocities in that case, relative angular velocity in that case. So then this is VBA value, we can write this as V2 minus V1 by, now the perpendicular distance between those two particles means then R1 plus R2 will be the perpendicular distance. So up to here this is already R1 and this distance is nothing but R2. So R1 plus R2 you need to write. So like that it will depend on this case here. For the same nearest point itself the velocities may be in opposite directions there. Like suppose so next what I am taking here is the velocities. So one particle may travel along this direction and other particle may travel along this direction here. So this is say V1 and this is V2. That means this is point A and this is point B. Here also this is B and this is A what we are assuming. So now let us write this angular velocity in that case there. So that means now the velocities are opposite in direction. So that this angular velocity of B with respect to A means then you can write this as V2 plus V1 by now again this separation between them is R2 minus R1 you can write here, right? So like that depends on the given case there, given condition, and accordingly we need to find the relative velocity and we need to find this shortest distance between them. And so the more general case is this one. If any such a problem is given, then generally they will give this type of conditions there. They are nearest to each other. When they are nearest to each other, then find the relative angular velocity they will ask, right? So that is one thing here. And next in this the another case will be there, relative time period we need to calculate here, relative time period. So now let us write this. Actually that concept will be utilized in the gravitation topic when you are discussing about the satellite with respect to the earth, because we know earth is revolving and satellite is also revolving. So like they will ask a question like, for every 8 hours a satellite is appears above the head of a person, right? For every 8 hours the satellite appears above the head of a person. Then what will be the original time period of this satellite, they will ask. So then for such a case we need to take this another expressions here. So now let us write this. So let us, I am mentioning this as the next point or the next case here. So just mention that two particles are revolving in concentric circular paths. Two particles are revolving in concentric circular paths with a time period T1 and T2. With time period T1 and T2. That means time period of this particle which is revolving in this direction. T2 is the time period of this particle which is revolving in this direction there. Both are revolving in the same direction. The time periods for T1 and T2. And mention that also T1 and T2. And let these two particles are revolving in same direction. And let these two particles are revolving in the same sense. Same sense. Then time period of one particle with respect to the other particle, the time period of one particle with respect to the other particle can be calculated as follows. Can be calculated as follows. Time period we need to write this as 2 pi by this relative angular velocity we need to write, because we know omega is equal to 2 pi by t. That relation we already mentioned in the last class. So now just I am writing this expression as this relative time period is equal to 2 pi by that omega we need to write. And now that relative angular velocity means omega of 1 with respect to of omega 2 you can write here. This is the difference now. Larger minus smaller you need to write there. And so then this value is 2 pi by, this value is like 2 pi by t1 minus 2 pi by t2 we need to write here. And so that you can express this as this relative time period, you can express this as t1 t2 by t2 minus or t2 difference t1 we need to write. Difference I am placing because that you may consider either t1 and t2 of this one or this one is larger, so accordingly we need to take that larger minus smaller value we need to write there. So then this will be the relative time period if they are traveling in same direction. If they are revolving in opposite direction, then here you will get this plus sign here, and so this plus sign will continues there if they are revolving in this opposite direction there. So just to mention that if the particles are revolving in opposite direction, if the particles are revolving in opposite direction, then the relative time period, that means then the time taken by, then the time taken by one particle to complete revolution with respect to the other particle. That is the meaning of this relative time period. Relative time period means the time taken by one particle to complete the revolution with respect to the other particle. So that is, that relative time period is given by, so the t relative is equal to, again same, 2 pi by this omega relative we need to write. So now this omega relative means then we need to write this as omega 1 plus omega 2 we need to write here. So which you can express this as 2 pi by t1 plus 2 pi by t2 you need to write. So therefore this relative angular velocity is t1 t2 by t1 plus t2 we need to write. So it is our relative angular velocities there. That means relative time taken, relative time period, right? So then based on this, with the help of that, now you can calculate this. And let us see a problems based on this here. First problem I am taking like so note down this problem here. A particle is moving. A particle is moving with constant velocity v. With constant velocity v. Parallel to the x-axis. Parallel to the x-axis as shown in figure. Parallel to the x-axis as shown in the figure. Then find its angular velocity. Its angular velocity when its position vector makes an angle. When its position vector makes an angle theta with x-axis. Find angular velocity when its position vector makes an angle theta with x-axis with respect to the observer at the origin, with respect to the observer at the origin, and with respect to the observer at the point A, with respect to the observer at point A, and A means the mention that values there, that is 0 comma A, the coordinates of that point 0 comma A. So now first I am writing that with respect to the O I am writing here. So with respect to the O. And so now for that you can resolve our, this is our position vector now here, this is our point P. So let us resolve these velocities into components here. So this angle is given as theta, so we can take this as theta. So this is V naught V cos theta, and this is V sin theta component you can write. And so now with respect to point A, our omega is nothing but V perpendicular by R perpendicular we need to write. So this is our formula here. So that this V perpendicular is nothing but I can write this as V sin theta, this is the V perpendicular by, and now this perpendicular distance means this value we need to write here. Suppose I am taking this distance as R. So let us write this as R value. And but now this R value we can write by using this triangle here. This A value is given, so R is not given for us. So then in terms of this angle is theta, then this angle is theta you can write. Therefore this value I can write this as V sin theta by, simply here you can apply this sin theta here because the opposite side is there. So sin theta is equal to A by R. So R is equal to A by sin theta you can write. So R is equal to A by sin theta. Therefore this angular velocity with respect to the observer O is V by A into sin square theta you can write. So that is the angular velocity of this particle with respect to this observer O. And whereas if you are writing this for the same particle, if you are writing the angular velocity with respect to this observer A, can you say with respect to the observer A? So angular velocity with respect to A. So angular velocity with respect to A will be 0, right? Because with respect to A if you are taking, then velocity will be along the same line here. There is no need of, that means you won't get any component perpendicular to that line. So that velocity is along the same line means then angular velocity will be 0. So with respect to A that will be 0, and with respect to O, with respect to origin, then we are getting this expression there, right? And based on this relative angular velocity, let us write one problem. Just I will give that problem and you can solve that problem easily. So I am taking the case like this. So this is a particle A having this velocity of 20 meter per second, and this angle is say 37 degrees, and this angle is 53 degrees, and its velocity is say 10 meter per second, and this distance is I am taking it as 5 meters. Two particles A and B, this is point B. Two particles A and B or moving or having velocities as shown in the figure, at some instant, find angular velocity of A with respect to the B at that instant. Angular velocity of A with respect to the B at that instant. I hope all of you can solve this. Just resolution and perpendicular relative velocity by that perpendicular distance we need to find, right? So now let us write based on the time period. I will give this another problem. So let us write that problem now. So solve this problem. So I am saying this next problem there. For an observer standing on the earth, a satellite completes one revolution in 8 hours. Then find the time period of revolution of the satellite. Find the time period of the satellite. So right, just that relative time period formula we need to apply here, and they mention that find the time period of the satellite if it revolves, in the two conditions. First condition, if it revolves from west to east, and next condition B, if it revolves from east to west. So now the first condition is like when it is revolving in the west to east. West to east means then this time period of the revolution of the earth and the revolution of the satellite will be both are in the same direction there. West to east means, because you know earth is revolving from west to east. So if satellite is also revolving in the same sense, then it will be same. And so then we need to apply our first formula there. So for the first case, what I can write here is this relative time period is equal to T1 T2 by T1 minus T2 you can write, or T1 difference T2 we can write. So now T1 is the time period of earth if you are taking, because earth is also revolving, right? So if T1 is the time period of the earth if you are taking, then T2 will be the time period of the satellite. Now this T is a relative time period. For an observer on the earth, it appears to be revolving with a time period of 8 hours. And so that means now here this is 8 hours, this T1 is 24 hours, and T2 is our unknown. If you want, you can write in detail here, directly I am substituting. T is a relative time period, T1 is the time period of the earth, and T2 is the time period of the satellite. So then this is 24 minus T2 you can write here. And then just to simplify this, so I can write this as 24 minus T2 is equal to 3T2, right? Because this 8 you can cancel here 3, and so therefore this T2 is equal to 6 hours you can write. That means the time period of that satellite will be 6 hours. It will complete one revolution actually with a time period of 6 hours. And so now here if you are traveling, if it is traveling in opposite direction for example, then just here we need to take it in a positive sign there. So then simplify that case there. If satellite is revolving east to west, so then this expression we need to write like T1 T2 by T1 plus T2 we need to write here. So this is 8 hours. In both the cases I am giving that relative time period is 8 hours only. So 8 hours, and this is 24 into T2 by 24 plus T2 you can write. And so again this 24 plus T2 is equal to 3T2. Then for this T2 is equal to 12 hours you will get. Then the satellite will take 12 hours to complete one revolution around the earth, right? So like that, such a problems actually again we will discuss in gravitation topic, just as we are discussing the relative angular velocity concept, just I explained here, right? That is a relative angular velocity or the angular velocity in general calculations there. right? In the next class, I will explain about uniforms, what is uniform circular motion and what is non-uniform circular motion, right? Thank you.